What does marriage equality mean to you, Gina?
What does it mean to me?
I don't know if you have friends that...
Yes, I have a lot of friends that are supporting it. Many of my friends are supporting it. It's always been fairness, and it's been life to me. Marriage equality is life. I was raised in the theater, and a lot of my parents' friends were gay and living together, but then they didn't have the rights to go along with it, and I never understood that. I never understood why don't my parents' friends have the same laws and support behind them that my parents do. I never understood that.
I think that we're at a point right now where this needs to happen because it's just ridiculous. Like, people should have equal rights, and people should be able to marry who they want, and especially because it has to do with love, you know.
Heterosexuals shouldn't be the only people who are allowed to get married. To limit who is allowed to get married is like deciding who you're going to fall in love with. You don't decide who you're going to fall in love with. Love decides who you're going to fall in love with.
Marry whoever you want. I don't care anymore. It's just like if the person's in the hospital and you need to go visit them, you should have the right to, and you shouldn't be, you know, I don't know. It's just, let's make it a contract, let's get it out of the church, because the people, men and women that have been married for a long time have done a crappy job of marriage, and we've tarnished the name of it, so maybe let's give somebody else a chance.
I think it makes sense that we don't have to pay extra for all the rights and benefits that straight married couples get just by getting married. Makes sense to me.
I think that everybody that can get married is rewarded in some way by the federal government and the states and all of that, and we can't be rewarded for that. We can't do it. It's not right, it's not equal to not be able to be married if you're gay.
Well, you know, I think this whole issue for me has to do with people getting the same rights that I get as a person, regardless of their preference and what they choose. I think that a lot of this has to do with fear and ignorance. So I think equal rights meaning acceptance of everyone, and no matter how we live our lives, what we do, that acceptance is extremely important. I mean, just as human beings, you know, we all deserve the same.
What does it mean to me? Well, Guy and I have been, this is Guy here, been together for 12 years in August. There's something that speaks to the country as a whole, subconsciously and sometimes consciously, that we are not allowed to be married. And I believe that if it was sanctioned by our government, then eventually there would be a common understanding that this is, in fact, the right thing to do, that that's what we should be allowed to do. It seems ludicrous to me that Guy and I, who have been together for 12 years and so loving and faithful and wonderful to each other, and there's nothing seedy or wrong or lascivious or, you know, those all the words that people can apply to, you know, homosexuality, I guess they just seem so silly when I think about me and Guy. It's just love, you know, and it's so crazy to me that anybody would think that that isn't right.
People who spend their time getting angry about the thought of homosexuals getting married spend way too much time thinking about gay sex. What is the big deal? You have to wonder, don't you? Isn't it always the ones who put up the biggest ruckus who are kind of like, really? This is your cause in life? Go to it. I was married. It only lasted a year. I'm heterosexual.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Who am I to say who you are supposed to be in love with? I don't understand that. Who am I to say, well, you have to be comfortable laying with a woman because you were born a man? Mm-hmm. Who am I?
Mm-hmm. Marriage equality, I just think it's abominable that at this point that it's not that everybody isn't allowed to get married to anyone they want to. I think it's totally unfair, and I don't think that it's a religious issue at all. Legally, everyone should be allowed to marry anyone of legal age, of any sex that they want to.